things that were fine, just fine, and don't need changing. My man Michael Bay is remaking The Raid. Oh, that's blasphemy. Blasphemy. 3 of the biggest action directors in the game are coming together to help give a new spin on one of the decade's most acclaimed action pics. Netflix has come aboard. Netflix has come aboard a new reimagining of Gareth Evans' cult classic, The Raid. Tapping Patrick Hughes to direct with Michael Bay and XYZ Films on board to produce. My little quick piece before I pass the mic. The Raid, when it came out, was arguably one of the best martial arts films I had seen probably since The Matrix, as far as having a visceral, like, oh my God, what am I watching type of situation. It refreshed an action genre in a way that it really needed because things started to go a little bit stale. I think this is an affront to all things good to have Michael Bay at the helm of this, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at that and let you walk.
I'll let Travis, you can keep rubbing your head as I go into this. Or do you want to say something now? Because boy,
he is like the COVID of movies. Why?
Oh, wow! I couldn't say anything better. That he is like the COVID of movies.
Why? He seriously will invade your genre and mess it all up to the point where you can't even breathe. I don't want this. Even though it's gonna have these swooping 360 cameras.
Around the building, around that one building.
Completely soulless. I will never forgive him for Transformers.
Never.
I can't. The only thing he did good was Bad Boys. I can't. Oh my God. Oh, when you said this, I seriously thought I was like in the black version of The Onion. Is this real life? Is this really happening?
This is happening. Thank you, Travis, for describing how I felt so well. For what he did to Transformers, I'm like, I am still angry at you for this. You cannot come back from that. You cannot come back from that. And because one thing somebody said was like, you know what The Raid misses? Big explosions. And swooping and parallaxing. It misses in these big explosions and parallaxing. That's what they're going to say it needs. I'm like, he can't even shine in this movie. There's nothing for him to shine. This is close combat.
Why?
He can't. He can't even shine.
Why?
This is not even in his toolbox. You told me Edgar Wright's redoing The Raid. I'd be like, I don't need that movie, but I'm here for the ride. But
the strength, the overall strength, in my opinion, of The Raid itself is the daringness of the stunts and the fight choreography.
Yes.
And the director that originally did it, he nailed it. He knocked it out the park in a new and a refreshing way. We got to see full action, not quick click choppy clips. Like this came out in 2012. You got to keep in mind, we're still coming off the heels of half-second cuts for every single fight scene, where you don't even get a chance to really see what's going on because stuff is moving so quick. He actually took the action genre, slowed it down enough, and said, "Listen, I'm gonna break this whole fight down for you, and you're gonna see every single piece of every movement." He gave the fight choreography a storyline, something that we hadn't seen and desperately needed. That's not Michael Bay's wheelhouse.
It's not.
Michael Bay he knows his tool set, and I'll give him this. He's good at what he does, even though I might not be necessarily a fan of it, but I will give him credit for it. His visual style is his visual style. That is not what this is about.
But what if you took The Raid and gave it the Rona? I mean, damn. Seriously, I look at certain movies, as shining examples, of their genres. And, for example, Aliens, shining example, right? Of a genre piece, Blade Runner, shining examples, right? And I put Raid up in the, in the action genre. The only thing you could do better for the raid, in my opinion, is make it 8K. Damn it.
I agree with you. That's what I agree with you. Just make it 8K. It was the perfect long length of time. The action was amazing in it. Yeah. I mean, only thing I could think of is like, if you had said young John Woo was going to make the raid, I'd be like, I may be into that. I may be into that.
Young John Woo, though.
You heard what I said. Yeah. You heard. I didn't make any mistake.
How many doves does young John Woo have?
I mean, of course, the killer's going to always. You said how many moves?
No, how many doves?
Yeah. That's his thing. That's his thing. You got to throw some. Like I think we were done with the doves in Mission Impossible 2. I think we were done with Woo after 2, and he kind of faded off into the sunset, as he should have.
Or you told me like the director for Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance was going to do a version of the raid in Korean. I'm like, okay, I can go on that ride. I'll go on that ride. Because who's the director of that? Let me see who's the director of that.
The raid was the first movie.
Park Chan-wook was going to do it. I'd be like, okay, I'll go on that ride.
It was the first. The raid was the first movie that I saw that I left there going, the stunt people are the stars of this movie. Like, it was the first movie that I had ever just said, whoever was the stunt crew there, give all those cats raises, man, because they left it on the floor.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and there's something to that too. Like, he was like, what he had in his head and what he wanted to be done was so far out there that he really did have to like go to Indonesia in order to get some of this stuff done, because like those stuntmen, God pray for them. I hope they're doing all right to this day. Like, they really ate some L's on this movie,
man.
And if you're watching this, do yourself a favor. If you have not seen The Raid, watch. It still holds up, and you're gonna see a lot of stuff that you'll see stuff you're like, well, I've kind of seen that movie before. Yeah, because The Raid did it first.
Yeah, and Gareth told a good story.
Yeah, and then let's
decent
also keep in mind,
it was storytelling was done in the fighting. Go ahead.
Exactly. Gareth also did another banger that is still kind of under the radar in Gangs of London. I don't know if you've seen that as well. He's a pretty decent storyteller. He's got some really good action sequences as well. I highly recommend it. And once you see, if this is your homework, once you've seen The Raid and you've seen Gangs of London, then come back and then you'll see why our faces look the way they do regarding Michael Bay retelling this tale. It's just...
It was the first time I actually saw a real life boss battle. Like,
you
know what I'm saying? Like, The Raid, I was like, yo, son, this cat got so many hit points, man. You better do something different. Do something different, because he keeps regenning every time you slap him a couple times, right? I was like, yo, man, this is a real life boss battle.
Yeah.